What's up? A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday. Going to have a great show this morning, getting set to talk about the Tennessee Titans and getting some injury luck yesterday ahead of this game against the Indianapolis Colts, where Sam, Zach, and I talked all day Tuesday about the Titans basically being in limbo of draft pick watch and playoff push. And so this game against the Colts is basically it. Do they make it successfully under the limbo bar to get to the playoff push, or do they fall on their back and lose another game in the division and start looking seriously at draft pick compensation and watch there? But we'll talk about the injury update with Jonathan Taylor later on in the show, but all running back talk today, Sam, because you have something you've been hypothesizing, something that you've had cooking up there since me and you talked Sunday evening after the Titans beat the Panthers about what's going on with Derrick Henry and how there's a little, I don't know if it's conflict, but there's just a little bit of awkwardness going on with Derrick Henry and who's at fault for his drop in production. Still a top 5 rusher in the NFL, but the drop of production is substantial. So we'll do a little blame pie action today on the show. Slice it up. It's holiday season, which means hopefully you're eating some good pie. So we'll do a little blame pie on this Wednesday before we talk about Jonathan Taylor, who is out for the game on Sunday, and figure out if that's a big deal, small deal, or no deal. And then it is Wednesday sports trivia. So we'll see if we can go get a successful trivia grid here. But Sam, welcome in. Hope you're doing good.
Yeah, we've had a great week of shows so far. We've had a lot of great content so far, and I think a lot of juice that's going to continue into today. Surprisingly, a 4-7 team is wildly entertaining at the moment with it feels like a storyline around every corner, and I'm really excited to get into this one. Like you said, I've had this one cooking, and this has sort of been developing in front of my eyes at the Titans facility for over a week now. So excited to hear your opinion on it and finally lay it out for the chat this morning. So for those of you joining us, make sure you share the show off the top before we get into it. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, take that YouTube link, send it to a group chat, send it to a Titans fan that you might know. Send it to a Colts fan that you might know ahead of this big game as we discuss Jonathan Taylor, like Austin mentioned. Get more people involved in the conversation and introduce them to A to Z Sports. That's the best way to support us before we kick things off here on a Wednesday morning.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan, our Titans reporter at A2Zsports.com, and we are Nashville's on-demand sports network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go to make him a part of your new car buying process. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, protecting your information online, and get a 2-week free trial with our link, aura.com/ATOZ. And with Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in the mid-state. That's Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. Online, KrebsKubota.com. So, Sam, first off, a little shout out to you because I did see several people, starting with Eric. Good job, Sam, with the 2 o'clock show yesterday. I also saw Scott saying good show, Sam, yesterday. And I saw a lot of love for that Titans at 2 episode that you had yesterday, presented by our friends at Doughbird in Green Hills, where you went in on Greg Bedard. And I saw on Twitter, I saw a lot of tweets and messages saying that you did a great job with that. So when I woke up this morning, I was like, I need to spend my morning routine listening to what Sam had to say yesterday. And it was, and Darius adds, Steven adds it. It was a really good show, and you didn't hold back, as Bork says. So golf clap, shout out, hell of a job. Yeah, good work. Just slicing up Greg Bedard to pieces that he kind of did it himself. But
yeah, right.
You were there to be the sous chef of it all.
Yeah, had to, I just used his own words. I mean, yeah, Greg Bedard, somebody had to do it. And it's one of the important things about being in the privileged position that I am in and having the level of access that I do is I feel like a responsibility that all media has to a fan base at times where tough balance, right? You don't want to give attention to it, but you also want to set the record straight. And it had gotten enough legs within the Nashville media scene that I felt like it was time to give my 2 cents on what I felt like was rather ridiculous on his part. So I wanted Titans fans to be aware of, what my feelings on the subject, the feelings of the people I've spoken to about the subject. And yeah, I'm glad that it was received well and that people enjoyed it and tuned into it and listened to what I had to say. So I appreciate everybody listening as always.
Yeah, yeah, and Brandon throws out a super chat, maybe a throwback to some Sam Lunch money on this one, as everybody else is saying in the chat. Great job on the story, Sam. I think it was a defamatory attack on the Titans organization and worthy of the reprimand. So yeah, absolutely. On that,
It's a dangerous cycle in general.
yeah,
And I mean, if you want to hear more of my thoughts about it, you can go and listen to the Titans at 2 show from yesterday. But it's a dangerous cycle in media in general, Austin, that I think people from outside markets who don't have to face the music, who are not, speaking to players and coaches and executives on a regular basis, throwing things out behind the guise of NFL sources and how easy it is to create a narrative in this league. And, you and I talk about it all the time. When you look at somebody like Ryan Tannehill and the whole, oh, I'm not going to mentor Malik thing, and something that's taken wildly out of context, something that is then pumped nationally to people who don't cover the team, who don't understand the ins and outs of the organization, who don't speak to Ryan Tannehill on a weekly basis. And it does create this like, I don't know, national narrative, national story about an individual player. And it makes you guilty or not guilty or whatever the situation is in the court of public opinion. And so it is a very dangerous game that somebody like Greg Bedard, who people read his stuff, people looked at him at least before as very reliable in his information, to throw things out and then to speak publicly about it and say, well, I don't have any of the facts. Well, that shows you that somebody does not have, admittedly, has no facts, but also put out stuff out there without facts that would suggest otherwise. So it's a very dangerous game. And I think it's easier for people to do when they're talking about a team or a player or somebody who's not in their own dome, in their own
yeah,
bubble of what they cover. And sometimes it needs to be exposed, and we can't always take it for gospel when it's
right.
yeah.
Yeah, well, kudos to that show. It was good. I thought it was reckless, would be the word that I would use to describe Greg Bedard's report, in air quotes, report. But look, I mean, we'll kind of see how things play out when it comes to the situation regarding other people wanting Mike Vrabel and the Titans probably not willing to give Mike Vrabel away to anybody else. So, all right, Sam, let's go back to our originally scheduled topic. Derrick Henry caught up in an awkward situation within the Titans. So you've been cooking this one up. There's a lot of cooking references so far on the show in the first 9 minutes, but that's okay. I like it. But so tell us, kind of explain, set the table. Another one, set the table with everything out there with what you've been thinking on with this Derrick Henry situation that really began last Thursday at the Titans facility at media availability.
Yeah, it began earlier last week, like you said, because I mean, it's no secret Derrick Henry has not had the most productive season of his career. He's under 70 yards per game in his averages, and that is, the lowest total since 2018. A lot of that is volume related. Derrick just has not gotten a ton of carries in many of these games, especially games that the Titans have gotten behind in. He's not getting the same 20 to 25 carry workload that he has even as recently as last year. And so that is one contributing factor. I think the other contributing factor has been the simple fact that he is hitting the backfield very frequently. The run blocking has been almost as poor as the pass protection for Will Levis has been. there just seems to not be a ton of room for Derrick to run. Now, Derrick Henry is self-critical. He's his own biggest critic. He expects excellence from himself at all times. And so you had heard Derrick make comments in the past about like, yeah, I need to be better. I need to be more productive. Nobody really thought anything of it when Derrick was saying some of those things, because we're like, yeah, of course Derrick's frustrated and he's not going to point to teammates or what everybody else is doing and say, this is why I haven't run for big yards. So this started with Tim Kelly last week, like you mentioned, Austin, because Tim Kelly was asked kind of casually by Jim Wyatt in the middle of a press conference about the running room for Derrick Henry and the fact that he's self-critical. And the way Jimmy phrased it was, has there consistently been enough room for him to run and create explosive plays on the ground? As we'll hear in a couple moments here, Austin, Tim Kelly says yes, and kind of very confident in his answer, which I think perked up the ears of everybody in the press conference. I was not filming it. I literally had my phone down, and then I go, did he just say yes? And he doubled and tripled down on that in many ways. And, it was a very interesting comment. And so over the next few weeks, or next few days rather, there was some poking and digging around to see, is this Tim Kelly that feels this way? Is it the team as a whole that feels this way? Is there something we're not seeing on the tape that maybe it is a Derrick issue, that he's not taking advantage of his opportunities? And there seems to be a disconnect. So first video here, let's hear what Tim Kelly had to say, and then listen to Derrick Henry after what I thought was a pretty good game, still very self-critical on Sunday after a win against the Panthers.
About things he needs to do better. He can run harder, he can make better reads himself. Do you think you're consistently giving him enough room to operate, or he get hit in the backfield too much?
Like consistent, like enough room as far as literal room, like space?
Yeah, like room to be able to get into space and get kind of going.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You feel like on a consistent basis,
yep,
the holes have been there?
I mean, as consistent as there's obviously there's going to be times where there's misreads and misruns for sure. But we're doing our best to make sure that we're putting our guys in a position up front to be able to create those angles and be able to execute those blocks and create those blocks. So it's always going to be better, obviously. I mean, the goal of every play when we put in a run is to find a way to get Derrick untouched into the end zone. So, that's always the goal. We got to do a better job of making sure that we're giving Derrick more space. But there's definitely been opportunities for us to be able to take advantage of it.
How did you feel like you did? You talked earlier in the week about trying to be more effective with your touches. Did you feel some more effectiveness in your carries this week?
No, I don't feel like I could have done a little bit better today. But just watch the film and grow grow from it, and just try to be better, and try to work on it as this week comes up, and just try to go out there and let it translate. But I could have been better today.
2 for 2 in the red zone. Was it as simple as?
So, Austin, curious, I mean, I'll tell you why those two comments really have stuck out to me in the next few days here. But what is your reaction to hearing, number one, Tim Kelly just say, yep. And Jimmy kind of gives him a chance to like, oh, you realized I said like consistently. So you feel like consistently,
Yeah.
Give him like a second shot at it.
Yeah.
And he just goes,
It was weird. It was like, it was a certain amount of sass that I wasn't expecting from Tim Kelly. And when he was asked that question, like Tim Kelly was almost perturbed that he was asked that question about the offensive line. I was like, it's like Tim Kelly's the offensive coordinator. He's not a position coach. He's not like sticking up for the guys in his room. He's in charge of it all. And so I thought it was an interesting way to answer that of like, we have given Derrick enough room. So what are you watching?
Yeah.
Like, well, what are you watching, Tim?
Interesting, because he said, right, he was like, yeah, obviously there are times where things can always be better, but he does feel like there have been opportunities that specifically Derrick hasn't taken advantage of like space to potentially have a big run. And notice he didn't say, and I singled out this comment for a reason. Like Jay said, I like Henry just fine, but anyone can see he hasn't been the same since his surgery. And I do think there's truth to that, right? Derrick Henry doesn't have the same burst that he used to, but Tim Kelly's not talking necessarily about burst. He says misreads and misruns.
Yeah.
Like Derrick Henry going to the wrong hole, not reading his blocking correctly, seems to be the assessment from the offensive coordinator. And so, yeah, and then Ramon said, yeah, he looks so depressed. It's actually a reason I asked that question. It was an unusually depressing press conference from Derrick Henry, who over the last few weeks had actually been pretty good in his press conferences and given some good emotion and seemed to have a positive spirit. And he was very down from the moment he hit that podium, which is why I was kind of like, what's going on here? Is he just like kind of upset about his own performance? The reason I find these comments very interesting, Austin, is when you take those two in a vacuum and you look at Tim Kelly, what Tim Kelly said, and then Derrick's own criticism of himself, you can say, okay, so maybe there's been a couple plays that have been really well blocked, and Derrick has had some of those miscues. And maybe it is Derrick needs to be better. But now we start getting into the other side of things, which is a little bit of a level of contradiction. Because I asked Mike Vrabel in that same press conference that you see that video with Derrick Henry after the game against Carolina about Derrick's effectiveness, Derrick's efficiency, and taking advantage of his touches. Yeah. Mike Vrabel went straight to blocking. And you'll hear from running backs coach Justin Outen in this video as well that I'm about to play, where he also kind of said, I think it could be better. I think, he could get more help. So, here's a video of Mike Vrabel and running back coach Justin Outen.
Derrick, do a better job today of being more efficient on his plays and leaning on that defense over the course of 4 quarters.
Derrick?
Yeah. Henry?
I mean, we just got to, block better. Like, I don't know, like, efficient on his plays. I'm not sure what that means. Like,
he said last week that he didn't feel like he was being as efficient as he could on
he'll come up here and you'll be able to ask him about his efficiency. I'm going to tell you that, we got to block better and run better. But when there was some space, it was cool in the 4-minute there. It was fantastic. And then we just got to get them started, and not beat ourselves with negative yardage runs and, whether they pressure and, we have to be ready for it. But, we hit them there on a run. I had a couple of nice ones. I hit him on the touchdown run where they kind of pressured, moved, spiked, and, he went out the back door. And then, had the long one there in the start of 4-minute. But then again, we stalled and weren't able to finish up. So it's just the consistency, I think, probably with, that. And, Derrick, and, again, he wants to impact the game. I know that. And we want to let him. Proud of him, the career that he's had thus far, 9,000 yards, need 10,000.
The amount of space as far as the ability to run through a clean hole?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's, it's been limited, with just you're facing really good defenses. You're trying to work the same schemes that you've been working the last couple of weeks that have been successful. And then, people have honed in on him a lot the last couple of years as they should. So, we're being patient with what we got as far as just the communication part of it. Playing on the road makes it difficult for those guys to communicate, and just overemphasizing that this week, and this being a home game and this having a little bit more comfortable, just the familiarity with each other as far as working together up front. And, it's all involved, it takes all 11. So just the cadence involved with it, the play calls, and then the communication up front before the snap.
A lot there to pick apart. We're going to do that here. But first, I want to tell you guys all about Fox's Donut Den. It is the holiday season. A lot of times you're bringing in stuff to the office. You're just getting things for the holiday parties. Maybe you've got family obligations that you're going to around the holidays. Make Fox's Donut Den a part of those holiday celebrations. Family owned and operated right in the middle of Green Hills, conveniently located next to Hillsborough High School. And the best thing about Fox's Donut Den around this time of year, when Hillsborough High School is out for the holidays, it makes it that much easier to get to Fox's Donut Dens. they got more than just donuts. They have muffins, pastries, and many different types of donuts and other items that are made fresh every day, and they're absolutely delicious. I've been in the kitchen, Sam, where I've gotten a fresh donut straight from the fryer, straight off the glazed drizzle, and right into my mouth. And it is incredible. Fox's Donut Den, they've been doing it for decades in Nashville, so make them a part of your holiday season. And check out all their great merch, like their t-shirts, keychains, and postcards to kitchen towels. And so you can also get a gift card for the holidays as well, right there in Green Hills at Fox's Donut Den.
Today's show is powered by BetMGM. BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up using the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you first sign up with BetMGM and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. I got really involved with BetMGM over the weekend, especially with that Titans game. I was like, if you got a 1-9 team against a 3-7 team, we're going to have to get on BetMGM. And I did win big. But even if you don't, even if you lose that first bet, up to $1,500 back in your account in the form of bonus bets with the bonus code ATOZ Sports. Sign up with the king of sportsbooks at BetMGM.com.
All right, so Sam, a ton to get to there with the awkward spot that Derrick Henry is currently in with the Tennessee Titans, because you've got four people talking right there, right? You've got the head coach and the running back coach who think that the blocking needs to be better for Derrick Henry to have more room. Then you have the offensive coordinator and play caller and Derrick Henry, the running back himself, saying that he needs to be better. Now, obviously, good players, great players, Hall of Fame level players hold themselves to the highest of standards. So I am not shocked whatsoever that Derrick Henry is holding himself accountable, saying that he needs to be better. Is there room for Derrick Henry to be better? No doubt about it. Abso-freaking-lutely. Then Tim Kelly's answer is just a little bit strange of like, yeah, super direct. Yes, there's room. Why are you even asking me this question, right? So I'm going to get to some comments before we ask our official first question of the day, because I favorited these comments because I wanted to come back to them. I see right here, Trey says, call a spade. Henry falls over at a single arm tackle. Ryan says, I don't think Derrick has lost a step as much as what other people have said. He can't get into a rhythm because he isn't getting the blocks or enough carries. And there you get Burning Devil says Henry has to break more tackles. Sam, you showed a comment earlier that said Derrick Henry hasn't been the same since his foot surgery. Curtis comes back and says, or maybe the O-line hasn't been the same or has been ass since Derrick Henry had his surgery. So even within the chat, there's a lot of difference of opinions within the people watching here on who's to blame. And I'm going to get into the blame game and the blame pie here in a little bit. But I will say this, Derrick Henry has lost a step. And I don't think it has anything to do with him having a metal plate in his foot. It's not a surgery thing for me, because even in 2021, before he broke his foot, he was averaging just 4.3 yards per carry. Now, the offensive line was falling off, no doubt, to where he was averaging over 5 yards a carry. Or if you go 2018 and 2020, those 3 seasons, Derrick Henry was averaging 4.9, 5.1, and 5.4 yards per carry, near or above 5 yards. The 3 years since, 4.3, 4.4, and 4.2. So he's been under 4.5 for 3 consecutive years, even before he broke his foot. I also know that when's the last time that you remember Derrick Henry breaking a long touchdown run? Not 64 yards of getting caught there where, against the Ravens in London. Not the play a year ago, I think against Cincinnati. Maybe, no, it wasn't against, it was a home game where Derrick Henry's running. He gets caught from behind. He fumbles and Burks jumps on it.
A screen pass too. Yeah. And it was, I believe it was Cincinnati actually.
Yeah. And so he wasn't in Burks. He got caught though, right? He has lost a step, but he's also lost other things around him. Derrick Henry hasn't finished a long touchdown run since A.J. Brown's been gone. And it also dropped a good bit.
Well, what do you define as long, I guess, is the question there. I mean, he did have one from 20-plus yards out this year against the...
Right. That was against the Bengals as well.
Bengals,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a long touchdown run. That's a really, really impressive touchdown. I'm talking about breakaway that we've been used to, the home runs, like 40 plus.
Yeah,
I think
I mean,
40
there
plus
does
is
seem
that
to be
home run.
he does seem to get caught in those situations now more frequently than he used to.
He's not running away from people. He is getting caught. Now, there's a lot of reasons for it. He's almost 30. Yeah, he's losing speed. Like, shocker. 30-year-old running back is losing speed. That's expected. He's also getting coached against, where I think players and defenders are taking better angles on him to catch him. And also, as I was mentioning with A.J. Brown and even Corey Davis, most of these big runs, 2019, 2020, Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, studs at blocking down the field and ruining those angles. So I think that is a big deal for Derrick Henry and why he hasn't been able to hit the home run like that.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's bad for Titans fans to admit, like, hey, Derrick has lost a step a little bit, right? He doesn't have the same getaway speed. I mean, that can be true. And it can also be true that the blocking has been awful for him. And so, like, the type of runner Derrick Henry is, whether it's him today or him 5 years ago, Derrick Henry is the type of runner that needs to be able to get ahead of steam. If you let him get his legs churning, you're in trouble as a defense, regardless. He is that good that he will kill you. But if you're getting him in the backfield, slowing him down and hitting him before he's at his top speed and able to build some momentum, it's a good way to limit his impact. And the Titans offensive line has not done a good enough job of setting Derrick Henry up to get in space. Tajay Spears is the type of running back who can make that first guy miss and duck under a tackle and turn a 1 yard gain into a 4 yard gain with like really good hip mobility and size and agility. Derrick Henry's not really that guy. Derrick Henry's the guy who turns that 5 yard gain into a 25 yard gain because he stiff arms you and is difficult to bring down. But if you're going to hit him in the backfield, you're going to hit him in the backfield. So I think it's okay to admit that and still acknowledge the fact that Derrick is a very dangerous runner and a very valuable piece of the Titans offense that they need to do a better job of setting up to succeed. I don't think most Titans fans would believe that Derrick Henry is currently set up to succeed. And it's interesting to hear the coaching staff seemingly disagree about what's going on with this running game right now and why they haven't hit the big ones, which brings us to our question.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, Charlie Hustle says, "Oh my gosh, he hasn't had a 40-yard touchdown this season. Get rid of him." Rolling eyes. Nobody's, at least
Nobody's saying get rid of him. It's just acknowledging reality.
Yeah, thank you. It's reality. He is still the 5th leading rusher in the NFL behind a garbage offensive line that has had 8 different starting 5 units of offensive line through 11 games. Nobody's saying get rid of Derrick Henry, but the reality is since 2020. He has not, and early 2021, he had some of these, but he has against Seattle was definitely, I think Seattle for 60 plus yards is one that I remember week 2 of 2021 that might have been one of the last true breakaway home run long touchdowns that he's had. But it's been since Corey Davis and A.J. Brown as well here. So Monty says only the dumbasses blame Henry. If your O-line is the worst in the NFL and you can't stretch the field, they stack the box. When the defense has to protect the whole field, obviously, the King is going to benefit from that. No doubt about that. So let's do the blame pie because Devin says, who is in the blame game? So I'm going to put 3 groups in the blame game. Derrick Henry himself, because he is the player and he blames himself, the player does. It is the offensive line and it is the coaching / play calling. So 3 different things are in this blame pie. Derrick Henry himself, the offensive line, and the coaching / play calling. So how do you split up this blame pie? And we're going to go in percentage. Derrick Henry percentage, O-line percentage, coaching percentage. We'll get to all of those. But first, Sam, tell everybody about our great friends at the Bone and Joint Institute.
The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. The Titans might be fumbling some of their play calling and the offensive line fumbling some of their blocks. Don't fumble on your recovery, though. Go to the Bone and Joint Institute, located out in Franklin, with a state-of-the-art rehab facility to assist in your recovery and whatever injury you have in life. Everything's all under one roof at the Bone and Joint Institute. No driving all over Middle Tennessee to get to different appointments and doctor's visits and whatnot. Clinic, rehab, imaging, surgery, testing. It's all there at their facility and the one-stop shop for them at their Franklin campus. So go visit our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute and schedule an appointment with them at boneandjointtn.org.
All right. It's also that BetMGM season because all the sports are in action minus baseball right now. So you got football, basketball in both NFL and college, plus all the hockey that you got going on. By the way, the team in Nashville has won 6 straight. But you can win big with our bonus code when you sign up with a BetMGM app. That's with code ATOZ Sports. That's ATOZ Sports when you log in and sign up for the BetMGM app to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. If your first bet misses, up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. If your first bet misses, visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee the only new customer offer. All promotions, subject to qualification, and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager. Only rewards issued in bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days. And for problem game sport, call Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789. Sam, I'll send you to the chat. Blame pie time with percentages between Derrick Henry, offensive line, and coaching. How do you split up the blame pie? And this is also a good math test for everybody out here to see if we can equal up to 100% with your on-the-fly answers. That should be entertaining.
Let's see. We got Titans Kyle saying that it is 50% offensive line, 25% Derrick Henry, 25% coaching. We have got Matt saying it is 60, 25, 15. Darren says it is 70, 29, and 1. 70% O-line, 29% coaching, 1% Derrick Henry from Darren. 5, 5, and 90 from Byron. Rashid's giving 70% to the O-line. J.A. says 80% on the coaching. Connor says it is 50% O-line, 49% coaching, and just 1% to Derrick Henry. Steven's got 15 to the coaching, 20 to Derrick Henry, and 65% to the offensive line. Darren's coming with an even split of 33% all across the board, 33% all around.
Wow.
Eric says 60 for play calling, 30 for the offensive line, and 10% for Derrick. Darius, 70 for the O-line, 20 for the coaching staff, 10 for Derrick Henry. A lot of 70, 20, and 10 from Ty Smith here. We got 70% O-line from JR here. Devin's giving them bulk share to the position coaches. Jill is going with the O-line at 60%. Brent is going with the O-line at 60%.
Zero
Austin,
for Brent.
Yeah. Some
Henry.
people have 0 or 1% to Derrick Henry. I think it's more than that.
All right. So let's me and you, before we go full pie percentage, what is the highest percent blame for Derrick Henry that you are okay with accepting from somebody else?
I think it's what I have written down.
Which is for Derrick Henry, which is what?
25%.
25% Derrick Henry.
25% Derrick
That
Henry.
is much higher than I had expected you to say.
I mean, I do think the fact that Derrick is not as quick as he used to be is a big factor here. And I think he would be the first one to tell you he has made some mistakes that have cost him opportunities at big runs. Do I think he's being too hard on himself? Absolutely. I don't think this is his fault at the end of the day. But I do believe that and I guess this is the hot take. I'll just come out and say it. More to blame, Derrick, higher percentage in my blame pie than the play calling and the coaching.
Really? Oh my gosh. All the goodwill that you just got from this fan base in the chat yesterday
I don't
for your
believe
great
that,
Titans 2 takes is just now down the drain. Down the drain, Sam.
I do not believe that the play calling and coaching has been egregious in terms of Derrick Henry's usage and the runs that they've drawn up. I just think they don't have the protection to really run the football at all. They don't have the blocking to block up any of the runs. And it's a little bit difficult if Derrick has had opportunities. And one of them last week, I very much remember because I was on BetMGM taking every Derrick Henry over that I could get. He bounced out to the left side, and Corey Curtis and I are sitting next to each other, and we both go, he's going to score. It turned into a 7-yard gain. He just didn't run away from the pack when he had the corner, and he kind of like worked inside instead of going around the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a moment like that I was like, Derrick Henry 2 years ago probably houses that football. That's probably a 70-yard touchdown run. But it's a game of inches. It's a game of half seconds and seconds. And so I do think there is a small portion of this, not the bulk share by any means, where of Derrick's production that is down simply because Derrick is older, a little bit slower, and has made some occasional mistakes.
All right, so you're at 25% Derrick.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Fields, immediate super chat. Sam officially has worse takes than Buck, and that is saying a lot.
That's tough.
And Ryan's the one who is a super Kentucky fan, Big Blue Nation, who constantly jumps down my throat.
Hey, I'm a Will Levis guy, Ryan. I feel like you should
right?
at least appreciate that.
Yeah. So Ryan just officially lumping you into all of those things right there. So, man, I think the highest level of percentage for Derrick Henry that I was willing to accept was 20%. I think your 25% is absurd. So I'm going to look. I'm not trying. Like, I don't think his natural loss of that last gear is blameworthy. I feel like that's just natural aging and progression. I think
I think I just have to look at the production is down, and specifically in the context of a lot of these questions, it has been explosive play related. Why have there not been explosive run plays? Derrick says, well, I need to be better. Tim Kelly says, well, there's been opportunities to take advantage of. Mike Vrabel says, well, it needs to be blocked, right? So there's been different answers about why there hasn't been space to create explosive run plays. I do think part of the reason there hasn't been the big explosive run plays is that speed. So I do find it somewhat relevant in the conversation of what we just talked about, Austin, which is when was the last time you saw Derrick Henry finish a long touchdown run? It's been a while because he's not as quick.
Sure, but he's also, again, I'm not the long play is what's missing from his game. It's been a while, but True. It's the doubles. Derrick Henry used to hit a bunch of doubles and have a lot more 10+ runs than he's had recently. And he's having a lot more negative plays because the offensive line is bad. So I'll counter your 25% Derrick Henry blame with me being at 17%. I think 17% is where I land with Derrick Henry. And I got to get even with math because 7 and 3 is a weird number. So I'm going to go and fill in that gap with 23% coaching and play calling and 60% offensive line. I think the lion's share of this, and I think everybody can agree that the offensive line should have the biggest slice of the blame pie. And I'm at 60% for that. I'm at 23% for play calling and coaching, and I'm at 17% for Derrick Henry. I think the offensive line, we know, they just don't have the dudes. Andre Dillard and everybody else at left tackle, NPF at right tackle at times, not good. Dylan Radins, when he's not false starting, is also not been super great. And then you've got Aaron Brewer, who gets pushed back. Daniel Brunskill is not a physically imposing guy either. And, Peter Skoronski has been the best offensive lineman across the board consistently, but he's also lost weight and lost strength because he had a freaking appendectomy before week 2 of his rookie year, and he's trying to recover on the fly from that. And so I think at offensive line, 60%. So before we get into more of the coaching analysis, where do you have the Titans offensive line in your blame pie percentage?
I also had 60%. I had a 60-25-15 split. So I don't think we're that far off. Yeah, I mean, the lion's share of this does fall on the blocking because it is what you said, right? Yes, that I'm at 25% for Derrick because of those explosive plays that I do think could fall on his shoulders. But the negative plays, the 1 yard gains, the loss of 1 yard, the loss of 2 yards that you're seeing early in these series, those are not on Derrick Henry. Those are blocking failures by the Titans offensive line. And the inability to get him going, as Mike Vrabel put it. I really liked the way that Vrabel said that. Like, we have to be able to get him going and help out Derrick Henry. Half of what Derrick does so well is lean on opposing defenses for 4 quarters, and it doesn't always look like a 50-yard touchdown run. It's 3 yards on first down. It's 5 yards on second down, or it's 5 yards on first down, and then a pass play for a first down, and you get another 4 yards, and you hit him. And now those 5-yard gains start turning into what you said, Austin, 10, 11, 12, those doubles. You might not hit a home run in a game, but you might hit enough of those chunk runs that it ends up being a huge day for him and a really efficient way of running your offense. When your offensive line doesn't protect or give any pockets to run, and he's hitting the backfield for 1 yard or a loss of yardage early on, it doesn't give Derrick a fair shot, and it kills your offensive series. So, yeah, the lion's share of this has to be on the O-line.
All right, but you have the coaches with less blame than Derrick himself. So let's ask that question specifically.
That's what I said.
Because me and you are opposite on that. We both have O-line at 60. We are flipped with the coaching and with the Derrick Henry blame. So let's discuss more of that. Which and who is more to blame for Derrick's drop in production? Is it Derrick or the coaching? Those two things head to head. But first, Krebs Kubota should be your Middle Tennessee's preferred equipment provider. They can help you out with whatever project you have around your home, your property, to get it done efficiently and overall doing it the right way. And Krebs Kubota can be your teammate, your ally to help you with that. They have the best customer service in the industry with the Krebs family name. Over 18 years in their growing locations. They started in Columbia. Now they got Franklin and Murfreesboro to go along with it. They've got a great relationship with Kubota. Krebs Kubota is an elite Kubota dealer in the mid-state. They've got the best equipment with the Kubota line and the best warranties with the Kubota line as well for whatever you need this holiday season for that person who's in charge of getting the projects done outside around the house. Get them what they need. Get them what they don't know that they need at this point, which is a Krebs Kubota piece of equipment at KrebsKubota.com.
Today's show powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. If your first bet doesn't win, whatever your first wager amount is, that can go back into your BetMGM account in the form of a bonus bet, and you get a second chance to hit on your picks this weekend. So whether it's college football with some big conference championship games coming up, college basketball, which is starting to get in full swing, or the NFL, NHL, NBA, in-season tournament, whatever the heck that thing is, maybe the only way to make that interesting is with BetMGM. So use the bonus code ATOZ Sports and you do your bets with the king of sportsbooks. That's BetMGM.com.
All right, so Damon blaming Henry more than the coaching staff, and Danny he blames Henry more than the coaching staff. Yeah, Sam, you had Derrick Henry at 25% blame, the coaching staff at 15%. I had Derrick at 17% and the coaching staff at 23%. Here's why I think the coaching staff deserves more blame than Derrick, because of the predictability and the stubbornness of certain play calling situations that Tim Kelly and the offense have, and the coaching staff has found themselves in continuously. This is like season number 4 of running ineffective, useless toss plays to Derrick Henry. And it doesn't work. I don't like, at best it gains 3 yards, but at most of the time it gains nothing or loses a yard. Sometimes it loses 4. There also the predictability of starting drives with a 1st and 10 run to Derrick Henry that loses 2 yards because he gets hit at the mesh point with the quarterback, whether it's Tannehill or whether it's Will Levis or Malik Willis. Starting a drive off with a Derrick Henry run has failed so much more often than it has not even just succeeded or just come out as a pass, right? It's the predictability of this play calling in moments that you're like, what? That they're putting and setting up Derrick Henry to fail. One of the things, Sam, that we talked about passionately was, what was it, against the Jags? Or who was the game? No, against Tampa, right? When they had the 1st and goal at the 5 or whatever it was, and they ran the – I can't remember which game it was. You and I were doing the game day show. Or that 2nd and goal at the 5, and after Chig dropped the pass and they run it to Derrick Henry to lose 2, now you're 3rd and goal at the 7 or 8, and you're just toast. Like, there's things like that are killing him and his production. I think it was the first 4 carries against the Bucks too, where he started 4 carries for -4 yards because they were all on 1st down and 10 and predictable, and they got stuffed. And so, like, that's where, and Derrick Henry can't do anything about that. No matter how quick he was 2-3 years ago, he's going to get tackled for a loss of 2, just like Adrian Peterson and Walter Payton, and maybe not Barry Sanders, but all these other greats in their heyday. When you get hit right when you get the football, you're going to lose yards. And that's where I think the coaching staff needs to be better with their predictability, and they're sacrificing a Derrick Henry sometimes.
So I guess my question would just be like, what do you want them to do? I mean, they run the ball out. Like, you're unhappy with the pitch plays to the outside and stuff that gets Derrick Henry outside. You're unhappy with runs up the middle. Do you just want them to not run the football? I mean, it's easy to criticize running plays and what they're scheming up when your offensive line can't block anybody and he's getting hit.
I will tell you, and I've said this, I think you and I were doing the show one day when I went through this. Why the toss play to Derrick Henry is ineffective is because the toss action by the quarterback tells and cues the inside linebackers to sprint wide immediately. It's a toss,
and you need an offensive line that is quick enough to get outside and block.
And they don't have it. And they haven't had it even when their O-line was good.
Yeah,
the toss play sucked when Derrick Henry was running for 2,000 yards in 2020 season. So let me continue. When you do the handoff that he bounces, why the stretch and the zone read is so effective is because the inside linebacker can't just fly to one spot when there's a handoff, because Derrick Henry is reading that. You watch the running back drills, how they start running back period with the trash cans, right? Derrick gets a handoff, trash can leans one way, he goes the other. And that's what they do every day in practice, is work that zone read. And so you're putting Derrick versus the inside linebacker, and Derrick has the upper hand and the leverage in that because he gets to choose where to go based on them. When you toss it, that's out of the picture.
I do agree with that theory in general, but that draw or that counter play has actually been the play that results in a ton of losses. Why? Because it's the play that Derrick Henry is not running downhill the most. It's the play that Derrick has the ball and is looking, right? And he's looking for a hole. And if your offensive line's not blocking it, he's going to lose 2 yards on 1st down.
Sure.
Yeah, so I understand
So that's where I come into the predictability of the situations. And I said this within the last couple of weeks on these shows, is that in the first quarter, the Tennessee Titans should not, or try their damnedest to not run the football to Derrick Henry on 1st and 10. In the first quarter of a game, try to see because what is everybody expecting you to do when you arrive at the stadium?
Sure.
Run Derrick Henry. So on 1st and 10 in the first couple of drives, don't do it. Then see what happens. And
I don't disagree with that. I mean, and a lot of people are upset
play
about
action, drop back. Go watch the first couple of drives of Will Levis against Carolina and Will Levis against Tampa and the Jags. How were they moving the football before the bad Aaron Brewer snap in Jacksonville? Throwing on 1st down, play action passes. Then you mix in a Derrick Henry run on 1st and 10 after you back them up. Because when you get off the damn bus, They think 1st and 10, Derrick Henry run play, and they run blitz it to death.
All right, well, let me put out this situation because I understand what you're saying, but I also think hindsight is kind of 2020 here.
Sure.
The Titans throw on 1st down and throw an incomplete pass. It's 2nd and 10. Now what do you do? Because if the Titans run the ball on 2nd and 10, everybody's pissed unless it gets 6 yards. If they run the ball on 2nd and 10, they gain 2 yards. Now you're in 3rd and 8. Every little Twitter fingers Titans fan over there is typing, fire Tim Kelly into the sun. Why are you running on 2nd and long? Throw the ball. Like, part of the reason they run on 1st down is so that they're in a situation that they open the playbook and could run or could pass on 2nd and 7. It doesn't always work that way because your offensive line doesn't always block it.
So play chess. So
and
call
I've been seeing the same screen over and over again, which also doesn't work. And fans also have a problem with. And you want to talk about predictability because this is something that I keep seeing in the chat. Justin says the personnel is still tipping the play calling. Hill says 3rd and 3, he's on the bench. They blame the coaching staff for this predictability. You want to know why they're so predictable by their personnel? Because Derrick Henry sucks at pass protection.
Yeah, but I think
it's not
they're
on
saying
anybody but Derrick Henry.
But
the fact that Tajay Spears comes out there and you know what the Titans are doing is because number 22 doesn't pass protect well. That's part of his game. I don't think it's something like, I'm not trying to put too much of a lion's share on Henry here. But if you're the coaching staff, you're in a no-win situation when you look at, well, if we put Derrick out there for pass protection, he can't really pass protect. That hurts Will Levis. If we put Tajay Spears out there and run our pass play, they might know that it's a pass play because we have one guy who can protect. So some of that blame does come on Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
and
but
so
third and 3, I think the 3rd and 3 or less is where there should be a conflict.
I think he should be on the field 3rd and 3 or less, without a doubt, just to make a defense think about it for sure.
I think 3rd and 4 and longer, I don't have a problem with him on the sideline because that's where he needs to be because he can't pass protect. He's almost 30 and he hasn't learned how to pass protect effectively. So, all right. Yeah. So we're spending a lot of time on this. I truly think that the coaches in the play calling deserves more blame than Derrick himself because there's so many times that Derrick is just screwed when he touches the football.
I don't think that's on the play design. I think that's on the offensive line that we just spent time talking about.
Sure. And that's why they got 60%, right? And so I've got a difference of like -3 Derrick and +3 coaches from even, right? So it's not that far away from even for me. And so I think it's the fact that the toss play that continues to not work, and there have been 3 different offensive coordinators now that have called the Derrick Henry toss to failure. And then the 1st and 10 runs early in the game when it is just getting run blitz to death and there's nothing that can be done. And now you're in 2nd and 12. That's the problem. Would you rather be in 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 12? and if you're incomplete on 1st and 10, at least you put it out there that you're going to throw on 1st down. So now it's a chess move. Maybe you give up a pawn and it's 2nd and 10 and you run. Now it's 3rd and long, but at least you're establishing a different tendency that's going to make them think differently about 1st and 10 later in the game.
Sure. I think we just need to put Jeffrey Simmons out there as the fullback at all times. And he'll just,
as long as his shoulders are fine.
Full-time fullback Jeffrey Simmons. And that'll be that's the cure here.
All right, let's switch over and talk about this Sunday's game against the Colts. With a quick topic here, this is the news that came out yesterday. Jonathan Taylor is out and will miss 2 to 3 weeks, having thumb surgery in LA. I believe that's today. Is this tweet from yesterday? So he is out for 2 to 3 weeks. So he is out for the game against the Tennessee Titans. So we want to ask this question quickly. This is a big deal, small deal, or no deal? Big deal, small deal, or no deal that Jonathan Taylor is out for the Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. We'll get to all your answers here coming up. But first, Farm Bureau Health Plans, they can take care of you for whatever your health coverage needs are. You can plan on them for health, dental, and vision. Zach's got all 3 of them, the trifecta there. And Farm Bureau Health Plans has been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years. They make it easy on you. They care about the community. They support the Tennessee Titans. They're corporate sponsors of the Tennessee Volunteers. If you go to a high school sporting event across the entire state, you're going to see Farm Bureau Health Plans involved there too, because the community is important. And so is your health plan. So is your family's health plan. So whatever your situation is, Farm Bureau Health Plans is who you can lean on, who you can trust when you need it the most. FBHP.com/ATOZ.
Today's show powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Big division game against the Colts this weekend for the Titans. If you have a pick and want to get in on the action, do it with the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. Get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win with the king of sportsbooks. That's BetMGM and BetMGM.com.
All right, so Sam, I'll send you the chat pretty quick on this. So big deal, small deal, or no deal. Jonathan Taylor out versus the Titans for the Colts. So I'll see what they're saying on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. By the way, if you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button. We need more likes on the show. Way more people are watching right now than have hit the like button. So if you haven't hit, why not? Why not hit the like button?
Takes a second.
I watched a YouTube video for a home improvement thing last night to put something up. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit the like button on this because it helped me get something done. So if we're helping you get the job done, if we're helping you delay work for the day, hit the like button. What are you doing? Just watch. There you go. Now we're up 20 likes on Facebook just from those 15 seconds. All right. So big deal, small deal, or no deal for Jonathan Taylor out versus the Titans.
Eric says no deal. Jaron says big deal. Willie, no deal. Jody, small deal. Rooney says it's a big deal. Got a no deal from Rashid. Small deal from Titans Kyle. A no deal from DeMario. No deal from Kevin. Small deal from Billy Jones and Karen and hello ladies and Galen. Big deal, says Freddie. We got no deal from Dwayne, American Toff, and Darius. Jill says no deal. Same with Luman and Curtis. Scott says no deal. They still have to stop Zach Moss. Rashid says we want Moss. Alex says no deal. J. Rome says small deal. The other dude is running better. Jerry says small deal. He was out last time we played them. Timmy says it is a big deal. Austin, this is a small deal for me. I do think not giving Indianapolis 2 running backs is good, right? I mean, it is nice that they typically they have had fresh legs at all times with him and Zach Moss kind of going. Jonathan Taylor did, by the way, just come off his best game of the year. He had over 6 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns in the last game that he played. It's a small deal.
Which was Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not a no deal because I think Taylor is without a doubt the better running back than Zach Moss, the more versatile running back than Zach Moss. So yeah, the Titans still have to step up to the plate and deal with Zach Moss. They didn't do that last time when they were in Indianapolis, and it cost them that football game. You allowed Moss to have a career high in yards and score twice. But I do think this benefits the Titans defense at least slightly heading into a big division game.
Yeah, I think it's a small deal as well. It's not a big deal because Zach Moss is, I think he's 10th in the NFL in rushing.
Yes, I mean, he's had a couple explosive games. So
yeah, and I think it's I think the fact that they don't have Taylor, like the lack of the 1-2 punch, right? It's always good for a team that needs it, like the Colts need it, to have that. So I think it's a small deal because Jonathan Taylor would be an extra level of difficulty for the Titans. You'd rather not play one of the better running backs in the game than play him. Zach Moss, I think you wrote this yesterday. There's an opportunity for revenge for the Titans defense in this game because they got embarrassed by Zach Moss for I think
he had 160 or something like that and 2 score 164, I think.
Yeah, but it was also in the air too. I think he had 195 yards from scrimmage. I think he had nearly 200 yards.
I mean, and I think, like you said, not just a defense that used to pride themselves on being a very good run defense, giving up a ton of rushing yards. There was also really, we're getting torched by Zach Moss. We're getting torched by a career backup, kind of This is where we've resorted to. So I do think, it is a big chance for redemption for this Titans defense to be all right, hey, we might not be the best run defense, but we're not getting gashed for 160 by Zach Moss again. And seeing if they can shut down the rushing attack now with Jonathan Taylor out of the picture.
Yeah, and we can talk more about this on Thursday, Friday shows before we get into this game. But American Top says, didn't the Titans have Byard in that game too? Yeah, but that was a game where I feel like Gibbons, Aziz, then you had Tier Tart was out that day with his injury situation, and there was a lot of guessing or a lot of just incorrect reads that were being made up front that were hanging out Gibbons and Aziz to dry, and then they made their own mistakes on top of it.
It
So
will be interesting, though, because there has been some sort of a correction for this run defense not getting like torched by the run recently. But I think a big part of that is the fact you've played teams that just can't run the ball. Like Carolina doesn't run the ball well at all. Tampa Bay does not run the ball well at all. And so your last few games here, Jacksonville, they basically didn't have to run the ball because they were throwing for whatever they wanted. It's interesting to me to see how the Titans respond to a team that already identified how to beat them on the ground. And now you get a second chance at them and see, have the Titans figured out a little something for this run defense? Or, is it still the same mess that it was a month and a half ago?
yeah, Zach Moss had 23 carries for 165, average of 7.2, 2 touchdowns rushing. Then he had 2 catches for 30 yards.
Yeah. So 195 from scrimmage.
Yeah, pretty nuts on 25 touches. Just 8 yards a touch, basically. That is just brutal. All right, Sam, let's go ahead and get the trivia. Lou Man called it on the trivia here on this Tuesday. Are you ready for our Trivia Tuesday?
Let's do it.
Shout out as always, Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Sam jumping the gun. There you go.
I'm not. I messed up everything here. We're all over the place. Hey, yo.
WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Like I say, this time of year, it's a great time to buy a car. Great time to buy a car right before the end of the year. And Wilson County Hyundai is a great place to do it. All right, Sam, are you ready now?
Now I'm ready. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Now let's get to our Tuesday trivia setup here. So we've got 9 questions, 9 topics on the grid. I will pick the first topic, and then I will go. Did I say Tuesday? Today's Wednesday. My fault. Wednesday sports trivia. So I'll pick the first category, and then you guys in the chat, I'll pick somebody's answer for the second category. I'm going to start us off with television.
Television. Let's get into it. Lorelai and Rory were the character names of the mother-daughter leads from this WBCW series from 2000 to 2007.
Do you know it, Sam?
No, I don't.
I do know this. I know this very well, unfortunately.
Chat knows it. Chat is all over it.
This show, I don't like this show. It drives me crazy. Gilmore Girls is the correct answer. Amanda C says loves this show. This is a show that is beloved by a lot of people. I don't like it.
What is it about? I've never watched
it. It's the mother-daughter relationship. They just told you the question.
Oh. Well,
it's
never seen it.
The music and the script is all too annoying for me. It's like the script is too fast, and because it's not realistic conversation. It's not conversational. It's it's scripted, obviously. And then the music drives me insane in the show. All right. I did see Justin came in with the next category. Justin's going with movies.
Chat cracks me up. Leave it to the sports talk show to get a Gilmore Girls question. Everybody, boring. Sounds boring. Makes me laugh. All right, music. What 2005 Carrie Underwood song opens with the lyrics? Right now, he's probably slow dancing to the bleach blonde tramp, and she's probably getting frisky. This is
right now. Man, this is a jam.
Now.
You know it, Sam?
Yeah, I know this one. This is a good one. Maybe the best Carrie song.
Yes, there's no doubt. This is the best Carrie song.
She's got some good ones, but yes, as chat is all on, Before He Cheats is top tier for Carrie Underwood music fans out there. So that is
Let's start off with a tic-tac-toe movies.
Oh, we're going straight. Okay, we're going straight to the bottom. All right, let's see what the movie quite. In this 2018 superhero film, Tom Hardy plays Eddie Brock, a struggling journalist who gains superpowers after becoming host to an alien symbiote. I don't know what that word is. I know the answer,
I have
but
no clue.
a big Tom Hardy fan. So I do know it, and chat absolutely killing it as well. Big shout out American Toff, Matt, Hayden, Titans Kyle, Zach, Demetrius, Nate's Burner, Bork, Darius, everybody all over it here. It is Venom is the answer here. Tom Hardy's superhero movie is Venom.
All right, let's just go celebrity mashup.
Oh, let's go. I hope I know this one. Celebrity mashup.
Oh my God.
I got them. I got both of them.
Both of them?
Off the bat. I think so.
That's such an interesting face.
I feel confident I have both of them.
I mean, Channing Tatum is absolutely the guy. Like, that's as easy as it gets.
Yes.
I do not know who the woman is. We're getting a Scarlett Johansson. Then Reese Witherspoon.
That was my guess. I believe it's Channing Tatum and Reese Witherspoon, and I'm actually pretty confident.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's Reese.
That is not. I see Brie Larson in the chat. That is not Brie Larson.
No, that is actually Reese Witherspoon's hair.
Yep, that was my thought as well. Yeah, I saw it and I said, "Oh, that's Channing Tatum and Reese Witherspoon." So, yeah, who is first on the Reese Witherspoon?
The first Reese Witherspoon was, where'd it go? Where did it go?
I think it was Ashley here.
Ashley, yeah, Ashley was the first on.
Ashley sees the vision because I'm lockstep there. I'm going to go Reese Witherspoon, Channing Tatum. Bang.
Boom. All right.
Bang. Bang. Nice.
Devin says she likes his tweets. Reese does?
Reese Witherspoon likes your tweets.
Likes your tweets.
Nice.
All right, zoom us out a little bit more.
All right. Where we want to go here?
Let's go to grocery products.
Okay, grocery products. Typically coming in yellow boxes with a blue logo, white print, and a fisherman on the box. This brand of frozen fish products originates in the Northeast.
Yeah.
I guess it's frozen fish, so it's going to be like frozen cod or tilapia or stuff that you get in a box. Blue logo, white print.
We're getting a lot of Gordons.
Yeah, I'm not familiar, but apparently people are people know
Is it Gortons, like T with a T? Gortons?
I don't know.
Gortons, or is it D or T? Lucas says it's with a T. We got a lot of D's first, then the T's came in. T.
Yeah,
Lucas is all about the T.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess it'll pop
Dustin
up here Gortons.
There you go.
And that is correct. Yeah, I don't really buy frozen fish products, but shout out to all of you who do. Good for you.
This reminds me of the fish ticks episode from South Park.
NBA or college basketball here?
Yeah.
NBA?
No, NBA.
All right. NBA. Carmelo Anthony's Knicks tenure came to an end when he got traded to this Western Conference team before the 17-18 season. I do believe I know this one.
I think I know it. Portland?
No, he finished with Portland in 2021. Let's see what we got. I'll go to the chat.
A lot of Rockets and Lakers.
We got Nuggets, OKC, Nuggets, Lakers, OKC, Rockets, Lakers, Rockets, OKC, Nuggets, Denver, Nuggets, Houston. So he started with the Nuggets. So it is not the Nuggets. He was then signed in free agency with the New York Knicks. That's the famous Carmelo Anthony I'm coming home video. He did play for all the teams listed.
Right.
But the first team I was traded to, I believe, is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Really?
and he went Thunder to the Rockets to the Lakers, finished it off with the Portland Trailblazers.
Okay. So OKC. Jay says OKC. Byron says OKC. Titans Kyle is pretty sure OKC. So let's go with Thunder.
That is correct.
All right.
The
Nice
Oklahoma
job.
City Thunder.
Let's do a little history.
History. All right, let's do it. Let's see it. Living from 1765 to 1826, what American inventor is widely known for the cotton gin? I know this one.
You do?
Yeah.
I used to know it.
This was a like a history class one that we were absolutely taught.
Yeah.
And the chat's already getting involved.
And I did not remember that. That's not something that I
It is
retained.
Eli Whitney with the cotton gin. Yeah, I feel like, the number of people that got this makes me feel like this was as Bork says, come on, 7th grade history brain. I feel like this was a commonly taught thing for whatever reason. Like this was in schools. So Eli Whitney is the name that I had as well. That is the correct name. Good on the chat for crushing it.
All right. 2 more. Let's go college basketball. Then we'll end with the NFL.
In 2010-11, San Diego State went 34-13, made the Sweet 16, led by the second team All-Consensus American NBA Finals MVP. I know this. Not bet. I was too young, but I did pick them in my bracket that year and was devastated because they lost in the second round to the Kemba Walker UConn Huskies in a 10-7 or a 10-2 matchup, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. The chat's on it. Kawhi Leonard. The hardest thing about this is just spelling Kawhi.
Boom.
Sam knew how to spell.
Yeah. Kawhi Leonard. They lost to that UConn team with Kemba. And I was,
man, that UConn had those point guards that were just trouble there.
UConn, Shabazz Napier.
Yeah. Shabazz.
Basically the same team.
Yeah. Right.
But that Kemba team was fun as well. I wish I didn't appreciate them enough in the moment. I was just mad at them for knocking out my champion. NFL, Ted Ginn Jr., Vontae Davis, and Jason Allen are all first-round picks by what AFC team during the 2000s. This is interesting because I think I know it, but I did not know Ted Ginn was drafted by this team. Should I tell you my hunch here?
I know who Ted Ginn was drafted by. I just didn't realize that Jason Allen was too.
Well, the giveaway to me is Vontae Davis.
Oh, well, Ted Ginn was my giveaway. It's the Dolphins.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize he was drafted by the Dolphins.
Ted Ginn was like Davis. 9th overall, wasn't he?
Maybe. I don't know. It was before I started watching football. We've been over this.
All right. We're going with Dolphins. So I'm going to look up and see.
Vontae Davis, I remember this because he has a famous Hard Knocks moment of getting cut by the team that drafted him, the Miami Dolphins, a few years into his career. And the face of Vontae Davis, like crying and like just being there in shock and getting cut is like an all-time Hard Knocks moment there. So a perfect grid for the folks this week. A very nice job by the chat. Crushed it today, as Bork says.
All right. I got to find Ted Ginn Jr. draft.
I don't remember him with the I remember him with the Saints. I remember him with the Panthers. I remember him with the Bears. I remember him with the Cardinals. I don't remember him with the Dolphins.
Yeah, 9th overall. Yeah, 9th overall. Like I just pulled that out of my ass. 9th overall.
And I just named 4
from 2007. Yeah, you know what's crazy is Ted Ginn Jr. 38 years old. What?
Yeah, he played in the league like 2 years ago too.
14 years in the league. 9th overall, Ted Ginn Jr. to the Dolphins. All right. Solid job today. I want to go ahead and get this on your minds right here. We do have our Titan Game Day Live. It's coming up again, back-to-back for the first time all season at Acme Feed and Seed. So pumped about that rooftop at Acme Feed and Seed with Spirited Hive and Ranch Water Game Day special. So come down and hang out with me and Jack. Jack and I for that dude in the chat who was hammering me for that. But we'll be down there at Acme for the game on Sunday against the Colts. So looking forward to a big performance to see if the Titans can continue that winning streak. Sam also had some really good numbers on Titans at 2 about what the Titans have been able to do at home and why they've been able to be undefeated at home. So you can go check that out later on. So, and all the other things that Sam's doing at AtoZSports.com.
Those numbers are coming out in an article later this week as well. So we're really going to dive into this home road split of the Titans and identify the root causes of the 4-0 record at Nissan Stadium. So I'll give you my opinion on that if you didn't tune into Titans at 2 and break down some numbers that I think tell the full story a little bit better. So Keep an eye out for that.
All right. That'll do it for us. Make sure you like the show before you head out of here. Again, you guys did good about 20 minutes ago liking the show if you haven't yet. Hit that like button. We need it. Hit it. The like button on Facebook and YouTube. Why not? And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning on a Thursday. Buck Rising live tonight for A to Z Sports Primetime. We'll see you then. Appreciate it as always.